work of art is above all an adventure of the mind, said playwright Eugene Ionesco. And when it comes to those adventures, no one's mind or vision is more important than the director's. It is the director that guides the entire project. It is the director that assembles all elements and decides what to use, what to change, and what to discard. It is the director that puts his own style and feeling into the production. It is the director that helps actors delve into the motivation, personality, and psyche of their characters. That's a tall creative order for any individual. Directors begin with the story, the script. In fact, many directors describe their role as serving the play. They are charged with discovering and fulfilling in their own unique ways the meaning and intention of the play. Eileen Mouchet is in the unique position of being not just a playwright, but also a director. She directs her own acting troupe as they perform their mystery comedy scripts. And as Eileen, the director, can appreciate, Eileen, the playwright, understands the importance of working a script until it works on its own.
When I write something, because what I'm dealing with is plays and dialogue, one of the first things that I do is I will do a read-through. Because as much as I can sit in my room and type away at the computer and even read it out loud, which all of you out there, if you're writing plays, if you're not reading them out loud, you're making a big mistake. So I'll have a group of friends over and pass out the script. We'll sit around and we'll read it through, and I try not to follow along. I try to listen. So in that sense, yes, that is very much a collaborative effort. And I'll be making, I will stop to look down on my script and make notes. Then we'll take a break, and then we'll read it again. I'll make some more, and then afterwards we'll talk about it. And I'll say what doesn't work. You know, well, especially things like plot. I think I've plotted something out so well. And then one of the actors will go, well, I see a plot hole here. And I'm like, no, you don't. Please don't see a plot hole. And they're very good at spotting plot holes or characters that seem inconsistent, or this doesn't sound like something he would say based on the way he was speaking before. So in that sense, while you can create by yourself and almost in a vacuum, before it gets into any kind of finished form, before you even get into the rehearsal process, you have got to be working it with other people, actors preferably. You'd think you would do that read through and that final rewrite, and oh, there it is, it's done. Then you get in rehearsals, and things start to happen. The more they get familiar with it, they'll start throwing things in, and it's like, oh, that's good. Oh, that's good.
Directors fully appreciate how much is done to a script before it's available to produce. Most do not have the luxury of seeing the progression from rough draft to finished product, but it's the finished product that they must bring to life. Their work begins long before actors come on the scene. They read and reread the script. They meet with other members of the creative team, the designers. They look at the sketches and lighting plots and models of the set. They map out the actors' blocking and staging. In fact, by the time the actors arrive and rehearsals begin, the director will have already a clear picture of how the actual performance will look and sound. And they'll watch as it moves in that direction during the rehearsals. And just as a playwright, in a sense, gives his play to directors, there is also a point where the director gives the production to the actors and crew. Martha Franks, a high school drama teacher, describes this moment.
In every show, there's a moment, and it happens sometimes dress week, sometimes doesn't happen till the first night, where it's like when you're holding something in your arms and it slides away, and it becomes theirs and it's not mine anymore. And that's the best and the worst, because it's not mine anymore. But it's what I've been working for those weeks. When the audience applauds those kids, I'm bowing all over the place. It's all inside me. I get all the gratification in the world from that.
Exciting as live performance can be, there are other media outlets which rely on the talents and leadership of the director. In film and television, directors are absolutely indispensable. They need to have many of the same skills as theater directors, but their audience is an electronic one, which means including a lot of technological know-how in their director's toolkit. Kerry Polyasek is a director for a community cable TV facility located in a high school. He often directs the taping of school performances. These can include things like choir or orchestra concerts. His challenge is to inject visual interest and action into taped events that could appear static without his talents.
I think for most of my directing, I try to make it as artistic as we possibly can. We'll do a simple concert here at the school. It could be just a choir concert with students standing on risers. Well, there's not a whole lot visually that you can do with that. But through some simple camera techniques or racking focus and taking one shot out of focus, another one, you can kind of visually mix it up a little bit for the audience. Most of the moms and dads at home just want to hear the concert and see what's going on. I'm trying to visually help it along a little bit.
All performance involves a collaboration. The director is the one that leads that collaboration and puts all the pieces and parts into place. Let's watch Kerry in action as he explains how that includes a strong emphasis on technology.
For us, it would really mean making sure obviously all your graphics are in. Any graphic element that would help tell the story. Obviously setting the cameras up, making sure that technically everything is working well. And then it's just a matter of working with the camera persons to know what shots they're going to be responsible for. Because we are an educational facility, a lot of the things that I do in the control room are doctor your shot up, tilt down a little bit. So you're doing a lot of explanation to the camera person because they're learning, and you're also trying to put together a show. So that sometimes I notice that I may be distracted by helping one camera person or another camera person get the shot that I want, that I may have missed another opportunity for another shot somewhere. So from that side, that's a little disappointing. And only on my part, I enjoy the educational aspect of it and being able to teach someone. But from the director's side of it going, darn, I missed that one.
Just as the stage will determine the opportunities and limitations of live performance, the venue of film or television production also affects creative decisions. A studio provides the optimum conditions with all the equipment and personnel at hand. But every time a production crew goes on location, they are faced with unique challenges.
If I was, going out and shooting a magazine show and I was the producer, director, the camera person, I'm going to work with the host and, say exactly what I need, and I'm going to point the camera in the right direction and set the lights up. So in those kind of things, it's more of an individual effort.
Just as a theatrical director must master all areas of stagecraft, a television or film director must have a thorough knowledge of everything that goes on behind the camera. And with the ever-increasing production costs, all directors must know the business side of entertainment.
For those of us who are in smaller markets or in cable facilities, because your job changes so much that it's maybe not the same thing every day, where the person in the production department may be the director for one shoot, but he may take that hat off and be an engineer. If you have a good working knowledge, or maybe the editor. You may be shooting your stuff and you may be editing it, where maybe on a larger market like in a Cleveland market or an Akron market, you might have someone just shooting video for you. And you have a studio crew who would just do nothing but whatever goes on in the studio. So I think the multiple hat probably keeps the job fresh.
Many careers in the performing arts rely a great deal on learning while watching. It's not just a matter of paying your dues. For aspiring directors, serving as an apprentice on a tech crew is almost a necessity. And it's also an excellent way to pursue career goals.
Most of the time, the director has also got the TD, and they're also technical directing. There are some times where we have the luxury of having a technical director there, so a student is learning that, and that's usually a good stepping stone for them. If they're watching, and they're switching the cameras for you, and they're watching what you're kind of doing and the kind of shots that you're picking, that's going to be my next director. And I will say, okay, you're ready to do a choir concert or a band concert. There may not be a lot of action, but let's see what you can do artistically and start putting it together. So, yeah, we definitely work as a team, hopefully, and members of the team kind of keep moving up different slots as we go along.
Kerry keeps an eye out for technicians who seem to have a feel and talent for camera work. Some have a natural ability, and while Kerry encourages this, he also has some very practical advice for students who work with him.
But you can see the natural talent, and you can see someone that you put a camera on their shoulder and you say, shoot this, and they know the rule of thirds, and they can set the shot up, and they say, well, the lighting's not quite right here. You have another light I can use, and they they ask the right questions. As you can see that there's a kind of a natural eye, and those are the students that you really want to give them a little more, throw a couple more cookies their way and say, take this ball and go with it. An overall education in the high school area, I think, is probably the most beneficial. If you're going broadcast journalism, yes, you're going to concentrate on some English and speech classes and developing the basic languages, even in a secondary language. But again, the focus of just the strength of math and the strength of science, will help you in that degree path in college. If you have the talent and you have that natural ability and you really, really love the field of radio or television, broadcast journalism, whatever you want to lump it into, you could just be, going to a media house and making multimedia DVDs or CDs or something like that. Software is such, software and digital video is so phenomenal now that, to tell the person to learn all you can about that, but have a good, strong business major, or, have another, major to fall back on that will help support, work in tandem with your love of the production media, and then go from there.
A director's job is perfect for someone who enjoys being in charge, yet doesn't necessarily enjoy the spotlight. It's challenging, it's invigorating, and your art ends up in front of an audience.
It's in your blood. It gets in your blood, and it kind of snowballs from there. Yeah. Just being in media, it's exciting. It's stuff that you can really, hang your hat on. You could look at a final project and say, that's not too bad.
After talking to our professionals, we met with some students at Green High School in Stark County, Ohio. They've already experienced the excitement and challenge of working in television production.
We run this production studio where we film the announcements, and we also do other projects such as like making our own storyboards so we can edit our own videos, such as like a music video or anything else, a feature story, anything else that we'd want to do.
And they seem to have a pretty good idea of what it takes to direct.
Creativity. You have to have a wide range of, options, and you have to have a wide mind spread for this type of work because you have to come up with a lot of stuff, some of it on the top of your head. So you have to be creative.
The director is the leader of any performance project. Everyone involved looks to the director to steer the entire production. It's vital that they trust his judgment and vision. But there is one other group outside the production team that also places trust in the director, the audience. More than anyone else involved in the performing arts, the director is the stand-in for the audience. He or she must be able to look at a work of art, an adventure of the mind, through their eyes.
Funding for this series was provided by the Northeastern Ohio Education Association. NEOEA members include elementary and secondary teachers, university professors, and support professionals working to provide great public schools for every child. Teaching materials for Shortcuts to Happiness are available on the web at pbs4549.org/shortcuts.